Hi, friend, and glad to welcome you to our channel Shouting and Whispering. If you like it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. This scary high school story is about a 15-year-old boy from the United States. Many of his classmates did not like him, and the local bullies did not miss any opportunity to make fun of him. The boy himself was very thin, and, as you know, the strong always hurt the weak. But that was not all of the boy's problems either. His eyesight was very bad, so he had to wear glasses with large lenses. Most of the time his classmates ignored him, attracting their attention only when the other guys mocked him. Because the boy was lonely and no one was friends with him, he didn't even leave the classroom during breaks, and he sat at his desk and reread material prepared for the lessons, or stared at his phone. Because of the constant taunts from his peers, he was quite shy. Besides the taunts of his classmates, there were other bullies at school who were always beating him up and doing all kinds of nasty things to him. It was a trio of upperclassmen, and that trio was the reason why the boy spent all his free time at recess in class. However, this did not always save the poor boy. Often the bullies still found a way to bully him. It seemed as if the high school students took great pleasure in all this bullying. On one regular school day, the three men caught him in the bathroom. Apparently they were bored and decided to have some fun. The place was perfect for bullying weak students, because teachers do not wander into such places. The victim of this horror story about the school, they decided to lower the head into the toilet bowl, and it must be said, it was not the first time they had done so. Two of the older students lifted the poor boy upside down and plunged his head into the toilet bowl, while the third flushed the water at the same time. The boy was choking and short of breath, and the bullies only choked with their disgusting laughter. At some point the three bullies realized something was wrong. The boy stopped resisting. When they pulled him up and tried to put him on his feet, he only flopped lifelessly to the floor. They realized what they had done was irreparable. His eyes were glassy with horror, his mouth frozen in a last gasp of air. There was a deathly silence, and the two hooligans stood paralyzed with terror. But the third, the leader of the trio of freaks, quickly rushed to the door and pulled the latch. When the guys had calmed down a bit, they decided to hide the corpse. None of them wanted to go to jail. The biggest bully realized he had to get rid of the body without attracting attention. That's why he stole a hacksaw from the janitor's closet, which he used to trim the treetops around the school. Back in the bathroom, they began to dismember the body. When the job was done, the hooligans dragged the body parts to the gymnasium where there was a hiding place behind the wall that only they knew about. The body parts were hidden in the hiding place, and the hooligans swore to each other that they would never remember the incident again. Today the school is still operating in its usual mode of operation. The stash in the gymnasium was walled up at the request of the murdered boy's parents, and a plaque describing the crime and punishment was placed next to the wall. Since that time, however, on the darkest nights, the guards have been afraid to leave their assigned rooms because the sounds of footsteps, groans, and cries can be heard throughout the school, coming from the ill-fated toilet where the corpse of a 15-year-old boy was dismembered. The school legend at that school these days is that if you walk into that bathroom, look in the mirror, and say, "I know who killed you," for a split second you'll see the face of the murdered boy behind you. A month passed. During this time the parents of the missing boy visited the school many times together with the police. However, no one has been able to find any trace of his whereabouts. But everything changed literally in the blink of an eye. One day the hooligans came to the school and took their seats, and under the desktops they found the decomposing body parts of the boy they had so unfairly sent to the afterlife. The school was paralyzed, no classes were held, and the corridors were packed to overflowing with law enforcement officers who arrived on the scene. At the interrogation, one of the hooligans broke down and confessed to what he had done. He described all the details of the murder and showed a hiding place in the gym, where the body parts of the schoolboy they had killed had been decomposing for a month. On the same day, an unbelievable schoolyard scare story circulated among the students who claimed that the boy's spirit was still in the school and sometimes materialized in the toilets. The hooligans were arrested and placed in a detention center, where they were subjected to long periods of violence from hardened criminals who not only beat these schoolchildren, but did worse things to them. Subsequently, the court sentenced the bullies to 15 years in prison, but the ringleader was given the highest sentence in the state, life in prison, for his cunning plan to dismember the corpse.